yeah, keep soundbites 15A and 16 standing by as well. Got that? Okay, cool. And here we are, folks, back at it. Open Line Friday, Rush Limbaugh kicking off hour number 2.
From sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday.
And just to restate, Open Line Friday is open to anybody who wants to talk about anything. It doesn't have to be about the lead news items today, yesterday, all week. It could be anything you want to talk about. You want to talk about the NFL. If you want to talk about whatever, just pick a topic. If you're tired of all this and want to talk about something else, that's what today is for. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbo@eibnet.us. Now, in the previous half hour, I went into a brief little monologue on how the Democrat Party sees America as a cold, dark, dank, gloomy place. It is their natural, by the way, view. That's how they see life. That's how they see people. It's dismal. It is depressing. It's dark. You never get any optimism out of these people. You never get any happiness, laughter, potential, upside, none of that. It's always doom and gloom. And it's typified like climate change. What do? We're destroying the planet. We're destroying the habitat. And then we're destroying this or that for animals. And we're destroying this for the transgender community. We're destroying that. It's just a constant pummeling. And it was on full display last night in the Democrat Party's so-called presidential debate, which I believe was an exercise in utter futility. I don't think the Democrats have, because they are living in a perpetual delusion that is worsening. I don't believe they have the slightest idea what they are headed for in 2020. I really don't. I think they are lying to themselves continually. And I think they're telling themselves that they're going to win and win big. And it's going to be a landslide, whoever the nominee is. And then they're going to put Donald Trump in jail. And then maybe even get the death penalty, if they leave it up to some. Here's an example. Last night, Bernie Sanders promised to criminally prosecute fossil fuel executives for destroying the planet. And he said it on Twitter. He said that if he wins, he will pass a Green New Deal and criminally prosecute the fossil fuel executives who destroyed, not are destroying, but who have destroyed the planet. Now, folks, that is insane. It is the clinical definition of insane. This is not just politics as usual. It is insane. It is unrealistic. And the frightening thing is that there are some in the Democrat Party who believe it and eat it all up and applaud it. Why is it insane? Because there's virtually no chance of this happening. There is no chance that Bernie Sanders would criminally prosecute fossil fuel executives for destroying the planet. You know why? No laws are being broken. In fact, it is the energy and natural gas sector, which is one of the leading elements propelling the growth of the economy and creating new jobs and bringing down the cost of living. And the people that run fossil fuel companies like ExxonMobil, you name it, they're not breaking any laws. Even if he wanted to rewrite laws to make any emissions criminally illegal, he still couldn't do that because he's not the authoritarian that he portrays himself as being. But he would try. I have no doubt that he would try to some extent. And I don't doubt for a minute that he's serious. This is insane. We need to call this stuff for what it is. Rush, don't call it insane. You're just going to scare people off. People are not going to believe it's insane. It's like calling somebody a communist. Well, they've been communists all these years when we were told not to call them that. Now they're calling themselves that. I'm telling you, these people are insane. According to a couple different definitions of the word. He's a socialist. He's a proud socialist. ExxonMobil has published a report predicting no reductions in carbon dioxide emissions from the energy sector through 2040. Did you hear what Biden said? Let me find what Plug said. Biden said that he would literally preside over the loss of 200,000 jobs if it meant getting even with the fossil fuel industry. Hell, it's not 200,000. Biden said that he would favor the policies that would eliminate millions of blue-collar jobs for the Green New Deal. Joe Biden proudly said last night that he's willing to blow up millions of jobs to satisfy the extreme left who now run the Democrat Party. Let's go to the audio sound bites of this debacle last night. We're going to start with Pocahontas. Pocahontas, I'm sure she's been laying in wait all night for Mayor Pete. Let me tell you what Mayor Pete did earlier this week. Mayor Pete went to a Silicon Valley executives fundraiser. The fundraiser was held by, I think, the family that owns the Rutherford Winery in Napa. Now, many wineries have underground caves where the wine is stored so that it can age at the proper temperature and proper humidity. It's much cheaper to put it underground than to hire a bunch of refrigeration equipment they have to maintain at the proper temperature. They dig these caves, and they put the wine in there, and they deck these caves out. They'll throw parties in there and dinners and so forth, and that's what happened. They had this gigantic fundraiser for Mayor Pete, and there were photos of it, and it was the finest flatware you've ever seen, the finest silverware you've ever seen, the finest glassware, the finest tablecloths you've ever seen. It was the epitome of the Gilded Age epitome. Now, Mayor Pete is a left-wing socialist Democrat, doesn't believe in palling around with the rich. The rich are the problem as far as Mayor Pete is concerned, because that's what all Democrats want you to think they believe. The truth of the matter is the modern-day Democrat Party is the party of this kind of wealth. It is this kind of wealth that has been underwriting the Democrat Party for years, including that kind of wealth on Wall Street. Well, Pocahontas saw the pictures. Not of the party. The pictures were of the tables, the long banquet tables where all the donors would show up and eat the finest foods and drink the finest wines and listen to the finest speech by Mayor Pete. I saw some people on TV that, what's a wine cave? I never heard of a wine cave. Well, that's why I just took the time to explain to you what a wine cave is. And they're common among wine vintners. It's a common thing to keep their product stored properly. It's much cheaper than refrigeration. So anyway, Pocahontas thinks she's got Mayor Pete set up for the kill because he went to this thing. She thinks she's going to take him out in the debate last night because he went to the wine cave. Here's how she started the process.
The mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision many years ago that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Now, obviously, this is as phony as you can get because this is the Democrat Party. Who are these vintners? They're Democrats. Napa Valley, the vast majority of it, there's some exceptions, but they're all liberal Democrats. I can give you some wine labels or not, but I don't want to open any worms. But this is the Democrat Party of today. This is the big secret. They are the party of wealth, and they hide it. That's why the fundraiser was in a cave and not some rich guy's mansion or estate. Well, Mayor Pete was waiting for this. Mayor Pete was ready for it. And this is how Mayor Pete retorted.
According to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. So if this is important, this is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine.
And the audience continued to war whoop and believe and act like Mayor Pete had destroyed her. And most of the commentators, analysts, suggested that Warren did step in it big time, that Mayor Pete, he was ready for this and he knocked it out of the park. I don't think there's a winner or loser. Maybe within the Democrat view of things, maybe Mayor Pete did parry this off pretty well. But they're both a bunch of phonies is the whole thing about it. They tried to make it look like this is not a part of their friendship sphere. It's not a part of their daily existence. And it is. And if Pocahontas is being hypocritical, she went on to say, well, I'm just going to tell you, people can donate to me all they want. They can give millions, but that doesn't mean they're going to be an ambassador. That's not going to happen with me. And Mayor Pete kind of blew that out of the water, too. So Elizabeth Warren is constantly trying to make people believe she's somebody she's not, either an Indian or a middle-class pauper, or a woman that's never done anything in capitalism, has always been a good socialist. Classic phony. Classic misdirection phony. And look at what their debates are about. They're debates about who's rich and who isn't, who's legitimately rich and who's not. As though any of this has anything to say about who they are and what their policies end up being. You just had Barack Obama end up buying a $15 million house on Martha's Vineyard. Yet his whole career has been built on trashing people that do that, with a wink and a nod at all the Democrat donors who give him enough money that he can afford a house like that, because that's the game. The game is to make it look like the rich are exclusively mean-spirited Republicans. The Democrat Party has more wealthy people in the Senate and in the House of Representatives than the Republican Party does today. Not even close. Quick time out. Back. We'll get back to your phone calls here in a minute. Stay with us.
This Christmas, treat yourself and your friends to gift memberships to Rush 24/7, America's most reliable play-by-play of the news. With the 2020 elections about to go full throttle, you won't want to miss one word of broadcast excellence. Sign up now at rushlimbaugh.com.